from the world of hoops. Starting in Texas, the Spurs and Wizards worked out a trade to send Kelly Olynyk to San Antonio. They also signed Luke Cornett in free agency. Chene, how will this center depth help Victor Wembanyama?
Look, this allows their front court to be more flexible because one thing that Victor Wembanyama likes to do is have the rock in his hands, especially when it comes to transition or even being able to shoot from three. I know he only shot 35% from three, but now you have a little bit more versatility. I also like them surrounding him with seasoned vets, but most importantly, they've got young talent. This is a team not to be played with in my great state of Texas.
Next to Dallas, sticking in Texas, Shams reported that Anthony Davis had a procedure to repair a detached retina.
Oh.
He should be ready for training camp, according to Shams. The Mavs were crushed by injuries last year. Ramona, is it time for goggles?
Yes, it's been time for goggles. He has a history of getting poked in the eye. I don't know why this seems to happen to him a lot, but back in 2020, look what LeBron James told him to do. LeBron James puts up this tweet, says, Anthony Davis, Jabbar side by side with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's time for goggles, man.
All right, finally, reports out of Denver that three-time MVP Nikola Jokic will not seek a contract extension this summer, delaying talks until next year. Jokic has 3 years left on his current deal, including a player option for 27-28. Young Masuk reported on this story yesterday and joins us now here. So, Omi, walk us through this contract scenario with Jokic, and should Denver fans have any cause for concern here?
Yeah, and talking to people around the league, and including people from the Nuggets, there's zero concern about this being something like Nikola Jokic left the door open for other teams. This was expected because next year he could sign for a fourth year up to maybe as much as close to $80 million more. Now, if you're a team like the Clippers who have cleared cap space to maintain flexibility, you will have this hope perhaps that maybe, look, something unforeseen could happen. Maybe Nikola Jokic won't be happy with how things end up in Denver. But we look at the moves they've done in the last few months. They changed coaches from Michael Malone to Adelman. Adelman gave Jokic more of a voice in those huddles. You saw him being active there. They changed GMs. They went and swapped Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. They went and got Tim Hardaway Jr. They brought back Bruce Brown, a guy they loved in the locker room, helped them win the title. All of these moves, and Valanciunas, who they still is trending in the right direction. They believe, they're holding him to play next season to be his backup. These are all moves they're doing to make Jokic happy. And by all indications, the Denver Nuggets are not concerned about this at all, that they expected him to wait till next season.
All right, so Jokic could be a free agent as early as 2027. And Ramona, I'll mention the Clippers, but there are a number of teams that are trying to look at space for 2027. How do you see this kind of all shaking out with some of these teams?
I mean, I see the Clippers, and they've got spot for 2 max players in a couple of years. The Lakers are hoarding cap space. In this era, we all just got done covering free agency, and free agency is mostly done by the time we get to July 1st because you can negotiate with your own player if they haven't signed an extension yet, or if you can the day after the finals end, right? And I don't know what they're holding this cap space for. Like, I like the idea. If this was 2015, I like the idea of
even 16.
that cap space could actually lead to landing another superstar.
You know what it is, Ramona? I talked to someone today who said it's no longer about free agency anymore and waiting for a free agent to become available, and you keep that cap space. Players sign the extensions, get paid, get their money, and then if they want to move, they force a trade. And I think that's where
having the space to absorb the contract, only
but also
out
having manageable contracts that you can trade. Several role players that might be attractive on decent, and then you add in the picks. And if you don't have the assets and picks, you find 5 teams to come in the deal to work something.
Because wait.
NBA record 17.
Right. Because here's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people certainly were stunned by the way the Doncic trade went down because of the lack of assets and traded from a draft capital perspective. But the Mavs still got Anthony Davis. Like, you still need one of those kinds of guys, an all-star caliber player, to fetch yourself potentially a Jokic or whoever could be available, another star player.
I suppose you can use your cap space to acquire those type of assets that you would use in a trade like that. But you see that list and we all go, oh, wow, they could all be free. They're not really going to get to free agents.
No.
They're probably going to do extensions. And that's one of the things in this new CBA. And we saw this last year with De'Aaron Fox, where we kind of expected him to sign that. When he didn't do it, it left the Kings in a position where you got your answer a little too early. Like, maybe you don't want to know if he's gonna extend with you early, because then you have to trade him if he's not gonna extend with you. And we're gonna see that in a couple of weeks when Luka Doncic has this question for the Lakers in the start of August.
Right.
He can do that extension. If he doesn't do that, now you have your answer.
Right. All bets are off.
All bets are off.
Yeah. And by the way, Giannis could also be a free agent
That's
in
right.
2027 as well.
Oh, yes. You know what? When I think about Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, I like the moves they made. I do think that the same way that we talked about the Lakers running into the Nuggets ran into the best defense in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that changed the outlook of how successful their season was. So now if they're able to avoid a team like that, a buzzsaw, then maybe you'll look and see like, okay, we are still championship caliber and competitive, because right now that man is the toughest guard in basketball.
No doubt.
Positionless, when you think about it. So that's where I'm at. Like, as long as he's happy, the pieces are around for them to get better and to compete. And as long as you avoid maybe some of the stiffest competition in the West, then they're in pretty good position.
Well, and he's become more vocal in the huddles we've all seen. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, this is reckless speculation, maybe he's become more vocal behind the scenes too.
Yeah, well, and look, and to Ramona's point, if you are a conspiracy theorist or somebody who has wishful thinking, if Luka Doncic does not sign an extension,
right?
Who is Luka Doncic very close to?
Oh, Jokic.
Jokic.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Reckless speculation. That's what we do here in the summer. All right, see, as the big man, Chet Holmgren, got paid this morning. Holmgren agreed to a fully guaranteed rookie max extension worth a projected $239 million, which could be worth as much as $250 million.
Oh, my goodness.
This deal does not include a player option, by the way, and that's after SGA already signed his 4-year Supermax deal worth a projected $285 million. The MVP's contract, which starts in 2 years, is worth over $71 million a season, the largest average annual value in NBA history. The Thunder have now committed for a projected $524 million in extensions to keep SGA and Chet in OKC through the 30-31 season. Next on their agenda could be an extension for Jalen Williams, who, like Holmgren, is rookie extension eligible this summer. Now welcoming in the man who broke the news this morning, our guy Shams Charania. Check out the full rookie max extension. How did this deal come about, Shams?
George, when you win a championship, the second youngest team ever to do so, big business awaits. And they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander done on that 4-year, $285 million Supermax last week. And then it was about Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams, a.k.a. J-Dub. And today was Chet Day, and getting him done was the priority. Oklahoma City officials and Holmgren's agent, Bill Duffy at WME, they met over the last week or so, ironed out this 5-year full max extension that reaches almost $250 million this morning. It is fully guaranteed, and this is for a player that has dealt with some serious injury issues in his 3 seasons. But listen, last year, he was the anchor of what was a historic defense. He had the best plus-minus of any player in the NBA playoffs. He had the most blocks ever in a Game 7 of the NBA Finals. So up to $250 million for Chet Holmgren. He was on an all-star trajectory last year before his hip injury that sidelined him for 3 months. So he's committed. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's committed. Jalen Williams next up at some point here. But Chet Holmgren, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last week, they had the very important attribute of commitment to this Thunder organization moving forward.
All right, you kind of alluded to it there with Jalen.